So the main mission of the Evmos tokenomics is basically to realign those three main parties of any blockchain protocol, which are developers, then you have validators, and then you have end users. But the main premise is here that the node operators or the validators usually capture most of the block rewards. But what about the users that are paying gas fees? What about the developers that are building applications, right? They usually are left with less, even though they are the most active participants, right? If we look at the genesis distribution of Evmos tokens, there will be 200 million Evmos that are minted at Genesis, 40% of which is 80 million Evmos tokens, are being airdropped to the community. Then there's a 10% community pool, which is the DAO treasury, and then 50% is reserved for strategic endeavors. We can look into details there in a second. So as you can see here, we start at 200 million, and then there's a hyperinflation phase in the first year or two, and then the curve kind of like flattens a little bit. Then you have the airdrop that stays flat, and obviously there will be a time also where you have to claim your airdrop, and if not, it will potentially get clawed back into the community pool, which is something that we've seen with osmosis, right? The target is to have 1 billion Evmos tokens after 4 years, where the supply or the issuance decreases every epoch, which is every 365 days or every year, basically. The block rewards are divided as follows. 40% are distributed as staking rewards, 25% for the team, 10% of the block rewards go to the community treasury, and then 25% go as usage incentives, which is something that I've not seen elsewhere before. And this is basically the entire logic behind the whole methodology, that you have usage incentives to drive users and give users more Evmos tokens, which they can then spend on services that are being built on Evmos, which then means devs make fees from the base layer, but also get more TVL, and then validators vote on incentives to bring more growth, which then has this positive feedback loop, and kind of like reinforces the cycle by itself. Now, another part of the usage incentives is liquidity mining. So to incentivize the increase of TVL, there will be around, in the 4 years, 200 million Evmos tokens dedicated to that. So, and it will be fully in the hands of governance. In terms of fees, they have a very interesting thing, which is that they implement EIP 1559, which I've covered extensively on my channel a couple of months ago already. But instead of burning the base fee, the base fee will be redistributed and put to work. So that's very interesting. Now, the big thing here is the Dap Store, which is this revenue share model for developers, that they also earn part of their transaction fees from users for the products that they are building. Similar to what in the current App Store, the way it works is that you earn per sale that you make of your app on the App Store, and also Apple as the provider of that platform earns, right? So in that way, also the Dap Store will provide a revenue source for developers that are building applications. The second biggest innovation here, I think, that has been like long overdue in Cosmos is Ibc Relayer Fee Rebates. So for those that are not familiar with Ibc, it's this interoperability standard in Cosmos that connects all chains. Because in Cosmos, actually every chain is a layer 1, right? So Evmos implements a new way baked into the tokenomics that Ibc transactions are being rebated by at least 50%, which is really cool. And that's a blessing for a lot of these Ibc relayers out there. So in terms of validators, there are going to be 150 active validators in the beginning. Yeah, from the 150 active validators, there will also be a minimum commission rate of 5%, which I think is very good, because there have been a lot of validators that come with these 0% dumping prices and just run delegations, and at one point they just increased them to make revenue. But 5% I think is very fair. That's also what Stakecito has on all the 13 chains that we are validating on. So yeah, the validator side looks really, really good on Evmos. And then last but not least, the reg drop. So many people got wrecked. I covered this in an article. I covered the article already before, but 80 million Evmos tokens will be distributed. And a snapshot was already taken November 25th at 7 p.m. UTC. So there will be a separate claiming portal where you can have several steps that you need to complete in order to make sure you get the airdrop. So the conclusion is that Evmos is bringing tokenomics to the next level. The Evmos token, in my opinion, can accrue a lot of value because it just aligns the interest of all parties involved. And it also kind of like is being used as this fuel of the entire platform, right? That's something that for a smart contract platform is really, really crucial. And yeah, I'm looking forward to see how that plays out in the future. And I hope you appreciate that video. Stay safe, guys. Be good. We'll see you in the next one.